The world of Kael'Rese IV once shimmered with cobalt seas and floating citadels, but after 3 years of interstellar war, the planet had turned into an ashen graveyard. The air was thick with smoke and metal dust, and the ground was littered with silent machines that once breathed fire and death. Among the ruins, Lieutenant Marcus Hale trudged through the wreckage. His exosuit was half-broken, its power core flickering weakly with every step. He wasn't looking for survivors anymore. He didn't expect any. The war between the Terran Union and the Zalari Empire had ended 2 days ago, and both sides had withdrawn, leaving behind the wounded, the forgotten, and the dead. Marcus had volunteered to stay behind, saying he was scavenging for data cores. But in truth, he couldn't leave yet. He needed closure. He had seen too many die, humans, aliens, even Zalari civilians caught in the crossfire. The war had taken his entire unit, and somewhere deep inside, Marcus still hoped he could save at least one life. That's when he heard it. A faint sound, like a muffled cry, carried through the dust and wind. Marcus froze, his rifle snapping up out of instinct. His helmet's sensors flickered, searching for movement. For a moment, there was nothing. Then again a whimper.
Soft. Weak.
Not human. He followed the sound past a line of shattered drop pods and collapsed drones. There, half buried under a twisted Zalari skimmer, lay the broken figure of a young alien soldier. Her armor was shattered, one wing torn, her pulse rifle just out of reach. Her skin was a dull silver blue, streaked with dried blood and dirt. Her bioluminescent veins flickered faintly beneath her skin, signs of fading life. Marcus lowered his weapon. The war was over, and she wasn't a threat anymore. Her voice was barely a whisper. Please to finish it. Marcus blinked. What? Kill me? Human, she breathed, eyes glassy. Don't leave me to rot. He hesitated. She was barely more than a girl, young for her species, maybe 20 by human standards. The kind of soldier who probably hadn't wanted to fight in the first place. He knelt beside her, inspecting the wound at her abdomen. It was bad, shrapnel from an explosion, possibly his own unit's artillery. You're going to make it, he muttered. I can stabilize you. Her eyes fluttered weakly, confusion crossing her features. Why would you help an enemy? Marcus's throat tightened. He remembered the look on his sister's face the day she died in the war's first bombing raid, a civilian caught between fleets. He remembered thinking, no one deserves to die like that. Because the war's over, he said quietly. And because no one deserves to die alone. He extended his hand. For a long, trembling moment, she didn't move. Her fingers twitched, claws scraping the dirt. Then, finally, with a broken sob, she reached out and placed her blood-streaked hand in his. Middle the human and the Zalari. Her name was Sarai Th Vel, a scout of the Zalari's 9th Sky Division. Her translator implant was damaged, making her speech halting and fragile. Marcus carried her to a makeshift shelter, a collapsed bunker patched together with nanofilm and thermal sheets. He worked through the night, using what medkits he had left to patch her wounds. His AI, Dina, protested constantly through his helmet speaker. Lieutenant, Protocol 4-7A forbids medical aid to non-human combatants without command authorization. Command's not here anymore, Marcus growled. And neither are protocols. Sarai drifted in and out of consciousness. She murmured things in her language, snatches of memory, perhaps names. Once, she whispered, the stars burn so cold now. When dawn broke, Marcus sat against the wall, watching her breathe. The world outside was silent, too silent. The fleets had withdrawn. The war was truly done. But peace hadn't come, just emptiness. When Sarai woke, she tried to push herself up, wincing. "Why?" she croaked again. "You could have left me." Marcus handed her a canteen. "You're someone's daughter. Maybe someone's sister. If I walked away, I'd never sleep again." Her silver eyes softened for the first time. "Humans, always strange. You kill us, then you heal us." He smiled faintly. "We're complicated." Days passed. They scavenged for supplies together. She was weak, but recovering fast. Her species healed quickly in oxygen-rich atmospheres. They didn't talk much, but when they did, their conversations drifted between wary questions and uneasy laughter. One night, while tending the small fire outside the shelter, Sarai said quietly, "We were told humans were monsters. That you burned planets for sport." Marcus poked the embers. "And we were told Zalari eat prisoners alive. Guess we were both lied to." A ghost of a smile touched her lips. "Propaganda makes monsters of everyone." He looked up at the stars. "Maybe that's how wars always start. Someone tells a story." They sat in silence after that, the fire crackling softly. And, in that silence, something shifted. For the first time in years, Marcus didn't feel like a soldier. He just felt human. Middle Part 2. The Long Walk Home. When the storms rolled in, Marcus decided to head for Extraction Point Echo, the last known evac zone. He knew rescue ships might still be scanning for life signs before they sterilized the surface. But Sarai's health faltered again. Her internal systems weren't compatible with human rations, and her wound was reopening. The journey became brutal. "Leave me," she rasped one night as they climbed through the ruins of a collapsed city. "You'll move faster." Marcus ignored her. "Not happening." She tried to laugh, but it came out as a cough. "Humans. Always saving people who don't want saving."
"Yeah," he said.
"It's kind of our thing." They pressed on through burning wreckage, ash falling like snow. Once, when a drone patrol appeared overhead, Terran model, set to purge, Marcus threw himself over Sarai, shielding her with his own body until the drone passed. When she looked up at him afterward, something raw flickered in her eyes. "Why?" she asked again, tears streaking down the dust on her cheeks. "Why do you keep risking everything for me?" He didn't answer right away. He looked out at the battlefield, at the corpses, the wrecked mechs, the hollow sky. "Because I'm tired of losing people," he said softly. "And maybe saving you means I didn't come here for nothing." That night, when they stopped to rest in the hollow of an ancient transport, Sarai leaned her head on his shoulder. Her bioluminescent veins pulsed softly in the dark, like stars reflected on his armor. Middle Part 3. The Choice. On the 10th day, they reached the edge of the Black Mesa, where a Terran beacon still blinked. Extraction Point Echo. But between them and the beacon lay a ravine filled with radiation storms and, worse, active mines from the war's final battle. Marcus checked his scanner. Unstable energy signatures everywhere. He stared at the ravine. "We can make it." Carefully, Sarai gripped his wrist.
"No."
"The mines are keyed to human biosigns. You'll die." He gave her a tired grin. "Guess I'll just have to step lightly." She looked at him, something breaking inside her expression. "You're a fool." He shrugged. "I've been called worse." He carried her across the first stretch, guiding with a scanner, weaving through the debris. The air shimmered with static electricity. At the halfway mark, a mine triggered nearby. Marcus threw himself sideways, shielding Sarai again as the blast tore the ground apart. His armor screamed alarms. When the dust settled, his leg was torn open and the scanner cracked, but he was alive.
Barely.
Sarai was crying now, silent, angry tears. "Why do you do this?" she shouted. "You could have left me to die." He struggled to breathe. "Because no one deserves to die alone. Remember?" Her hands trembled as she pressed them against his wound. "You'll bleed out." He laughed weakly. Wouldn't be the first time. But then something changed. Her body glowed brighter, and she pressed her palm to his wound. Her veins flared with light, and warmth spread through his body. His pain eased instantly. He looked down and saw his torn flesh knitting together. "What are you doing?" "Transference," she whispered. "Life for life." "No, stop. You'll kill yourself." She smiled faintly. "Humans always need saving." She collapsed in his arms. Marcus screamed her name, shaking her, but her glow had faded to nothing. He carried her across the ravine, bleeding, limping, refusing to stop, until he reached the beacon. He activated it and set her down gently beside it, brushing dirt from her silver hair. Then the skies lit up as the rescue dropship descended, ending the hand that stayed. Marcus woke up days later in a medbay aboard a Terran hospital ship. His body was healed, but the first thing he did was ask for her. The nurse hesitated. "The Zalari female you brought in? She's in stasis. Critical condition." The medics said she shouldn't have survived that long. Marcus limped down the corridor, ignoring orders to rest. He found her lying in the cryo unit, pale and still, her breathing faint but steady. Her hand was cold through the glass. "She's stable," said a voice behind him. Admiral Corinne, his commanding officer. "We're negotiating a ceasefire extension with the Zalari. You did more than save her, Hale. You may have just started peace." Marcus didn't reply. He just stood there, watching the faint light pulse beneath her skin. The same light that had healed him. He whispered, "You didn't have to save me." Her eyes fluttered open weakly, her voice a ghost. "Neither did you." He reached out and pressed his hand against the glass. Her fingers twitched, pressing back. "Rest now," he said softly. "You're safe." Epilogue. 10 years later. The galaxy changed in the years that followed. Humans and Zalari rebuilt together. Old enemies became partners, cities rose from the ashes, and the war became history, remembered but not repeated. And sometimes, on the steps of the new Peace Academy on Kael'Rese 4, visitors would see a human man and a silver-skinned woman sitting beneath the twin suns, laughing quietly like old friends. Sarai had survived. Her healing ability had left her weakened for years, but she recovered, with Marcus never leaving her side. When asked why he risked everything for an enemy, Marcus always said the same thing. "Because the war taught me one thing. Compassion is the only victory worth fighting for." And whenever Sarai heard that, she'd smile softly, reach over, and take his hand, the same hand that once reached for hers on a battlefield filled with death, and whisper, "You never did let me die alone."